All right, here we go. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on the call. I am so excited to have Tamara on with us tonight. She has been somebody that I've admired for a long time within Plexus, and she is definitely one of the top leaders in the company. She is constantly just on that leaderboard, and I just want to know what she's doing and all her secrets. So I'm super stoked to have her on the call. She was actually the top credit earner in last year's convention contest, which is so neat. So welcome, Tamara, and thank you so much for taking time out of your night to join us and to share. We have a bunch of questions prepared for you, but I didn't know if you wanted to start out by telling us a little bit about yourself or anything like that for people that just don't know.
Sure. My name's Tamara Holloway, and that was quite an introduction, Sarah. Too kind. I've been with the company, goodness, getting close to 2.5 years, not quite, but getting there. And it has flown by. I started in August of 2013, and it's just been a crazy ride since then. I actually started just to lose some baby weight because some of you may have heard this story before if you've watched my Diamond documentary, but I was strolling in Target actually with my little girl who was 2 at the time, and this sweet lady stopped me and asked me when baby number 2 was due. And there wasn't a baby number 2. And so I had been researching Plexus for probably 2 or 3 weeks. And so I decided to stop researching at that point and just go home and order the product because I knew that it was time to quit delaying and procrastinating and just get on these products. I'd heard such amazing things about them. And then about 2 weeks in, when I noticed that I wasn't having migraines, which was a huge deal for me because I was a chronic migraine sufferer for over 7 years. That really struck a light bulb to me. And I thought, you know what? I may share this a little bit. And so I got a few customers. In my first month, I got my first paycheck in the mail. And you guys, it was only $240. And I say only, it was life-changing at the time. I was like literally, I'm not kidding, I was literally like doing cartwheels, not pretty ones, but cartwheels in my kitchen because I was so excited. My husband was in full-time school to become a PA, a physician assistant, and money was super, super tight. So that check made all the difference to me. And it was then that I actually went into this is crazy enough, went into my closet in our apartment and I pulled up the comp plan. And you guys, I just read through it until it just hit me. And a light bulb went off and I just had this moment of, oh my gosh, I can do this. And I'm going to do it. I called up my sponsor and I said, are they going to change the compensation plan up anytime soon? Because I really think I can do this. And she said, I don't think they're going to change it up. I'm like, great, give me a year. And at that point, you guys, I went all in. My belief soared. My passion was crazy. And I knew that this is what I wanted. And so I was willing to make some short-term sacrifices for the long-term vision that I had to change our family's life. So
I love that. I love that. And it's, the point to go all in is just, oh my gosh, that's so key and such a pivotal moment. And I love that you shared that with us.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it but to go all in. I feel like if you dabble, you're not really treating it like a business. I mean, this is a business. You paid your $34.95 and you have your own business. You're the CEO of your business. So I went in and I thought, I'm going to treat this like a business. I'm opening up my doors every single day. And whether that's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is that you can spend on your business a day, do it daily and do it consistently. Go all in because there's no other way to do Plexus than to be all in, passionate, and enthusiastic about it, in my opinion.
I totally agree. So can you tell us a little bit about, what started that momentum train for you? Because obviously you guys have had some crazy momentum, but what steps did you take to get it started?
One thing I did early on in the beginning was I was very passionate about list making. In fact, it's one of my very favorite things to talk about, making that list of potentials and prospects that I was going to pursue. And so I really went I mean, hardcore messaging people and calling people, texting people, asking them to go to coffee with me to really try to grow my business wide. I knew that if I grew wide and I had a lot of level ones, that likely I would have some level ones that would be as passionate as I was. And that was my job, to help motivate them and to build belief into them and build their passion up. And then I would build a strong foundation for my team. So that was really my first goal. And what lit a fire under me was I had this beautiful long list. I think I had 200 and something names on the list. And one of the girls that I had like bolded, starred, highlighted, circled, I mean, anything you can imagine, she joined another team. And I thought, oh no, that's not happening again. In fact, my husband said, babe, how many times is this going to have to happen before you go for it? And I was like, one time. And so I really became intentional about pursuing people. And so I would say that's where my momentum started. And I went emerald pretty quickly. I went emerald in about 8 months. And it was then, though, that things, I mean, we were still growing. And from everybody's perspective, it looked like, Team Tamara was going awesome. But behind the scenes, we had a retention problem. Anybody got wild lines? Yeah? We had a retention problem. And so I took a hard look at myself, honestly, and I thought, why are these people starting? And then 1 month, 2 months, they're dropping off. What's going on there? And so I asked myself some hard questions as a leader. And something I started to do at that point, and I feel like truly changed the course of my business, 3 things. I started doing training calls with my new ambassadors in hopes that would duplicate across my team. So I started doing 3-way training calls. So what that looked like is, let's say I had a level 1 sign up a level 1. They would reach out to them. We do it in the first 48 hours. They do that reach out, and we would ask them to jump on the line with me and with them. And the reason for that, and I have some that just do one-on-one calls, and that's great. But the reason I love the 3-way call is because you're introducing your new ambassador to another person that can be a support system, encouragement. You're showing them that they're not just a number, but that they matter. They are a part of this team. And not only do you want to be involved with them, but you're willing to invest in them and pour into them and help them get started strong. So 5 things that I go over on those calls is establishing your why, list making, goal setting in your first month, smart Facebook posting, especially that first post where you come out and say, I'm an ambassador, helping them get a really good, strong post. And then lastly, resources. I noticed that a lot of people on my team were just throwing people in pages and adding them to this and adding them to that, and these people had no clue what these resources were. So making sure they had the most valuable resources, not overwhelmed, but the ones that could really help engage them and get them started off right away. So those are the 5 key things we go over in those calls. They usually last about 30 minutes. And of course, it's also the most important thing is you're connecting with them. You're getting to know them a little bit. You're finding out why they started. And then you guys, there's accountability there. So if someone tells you their why and their goals, you can ask permission. Hey, do you mind if I follow up with you in a week or so and just see how this is going? So you're able to bring accountability to them, which is so important, especially in that first month. But I believe wholeheartedly that if you get your ambassadors started strong, you get them excited, you get them sharing right away, even if they don't have a testimony yet to share, but they're sharing what they're excited about experiencing. They're sharing other people's stories. You have an excited ambassador, and you have a working ambassador. And so get a paycheck in their mail in the first month. Well, I guess not in the mail anymore. It used to come in the mail. My first paycheck was in the mail. But get them a paycheck in their hands in their first month. It's so important because then they want to go on because their belief is built and continue to work their business. So that's one thing, and probably the top thing that I really believe changed my business. And that's where what Sarah mentioned, like the leaderboard, that's where my name started showing up. And then secondly, doing 3-way prospecting calls. So I would post times on my team page, hey, I've got, these 5 or 6 slots during my week that I can do a 3-way prospecting call. And I would do them for my levels 1, 2s, and 3s because, of course, You want your ones, twos, and threes to start to duplicate this, okay, for their one, twos, and threes. And our 1, 2, and 3 is really our foundation. Everyone on our team is important, but your first 3 levels, those are your foundation. Those are the people you want to pour in and invest in. So they are in turn pouring in and investing in their foundation. So I started doing 3-way prospecting calls. Changed my business, you guys. I love doing them because you're connecting with the person who's thinking about joining or thinking about trying the products, and you're able to share your story with them. And you know what? It's all about confidence and it's all about passion. I have pushback on that sometimes when people say, well, I'm just a gold ambassador. You're just a gold ambassador? That's amazing. You have a story to share. If you go in with passion and confidence and enthusiasm, your story is impactful. So don't allow your rank to hold you back. This is not about rank. This is about what we have to offer. Our team and our potentials out there. They want to hear from you, and your passion will carry you far. I have a video on both of those things, on the 3-way training calls and the 3-way prospecting calls, that I can send to Sarah if you guys just want more details about this. I go into a little bit more detail. And then thirdly, something I started doing was I called them mini conference calls. So what I would do is I would grab a level 1 and I would say, okay, you have a team. Let's talk about what your team needs to hear. And I would do these smaller conference calls just for that team. It made them feel special, and you get to address their specific needs. So when you're training to what they're needing. So maybe someone's needing just some motivation and inspiration. Maybe another team is really slow on prospecting. So the leader says, can you just help me to get them prospecting and working on their list? Let's talk about that. So I have done such a variety, and I usually do them on Zoom with different level 1s and their teams. And that has been so impactful for us. And thankfully, it's so exciting. I have seen that duplicate on several different legs of mine and on several different levels. And you know what? That's what this business is all about, right? It's duplication. So.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And so do you do those training calls, the new ambassador training calls with wholesale ambassadors as well?
You know what? At first, I didn't. And then I decided that still needs to be happening, because those wholesale ambassadors can turn into business building ambassadors. So I encourage you, add them to your team pages, add them to the testimony pages, let their belief start to grow. Because how many people have we seen that signed up as wholesale ambassadors and they go on to work the business, right? It happens all the time, you guys. So this is how you can pose it to a wholesale ambassador, because it is a little bit different. Instead of saying, hey, we want to get you started strong, it's, hey, let's get on the line and I want to help you understand the best way to take your products. I'm going to explain some other add-on products that you may want to consider in the future. And once you have them on the line and you've given them troubleshooting tips, you've given them best practices on how to take products, then you can say, you know what, I know you're not interested in the business yet, but if you decide to later, let me tell you how you can get your products covered with just a handful of customers. And that goes over so well. And even if they're still not ready, you guys, you've planted a seed. You've planted a seed with them that they're going to think about later. Man, I sure am loving these products. I've got so much more energy. I've lost 5 pounds. Maybe I do need to tell my mom about this, my coworker, my best friend. And they've already had that seed planted that they can get the cost of their products covered. That's amazing. And sometimes that's the only person's goal. And you know what? More power to them. Not everybody wants to be a jewel in Plexus. Some people want to make $200 a month. In fact, the latest ambassador I signed, this may change, but right now her goal is $500 a month, which is admirable. It's what she needs to continue staying home with her kiddos. And I am going to help her with that $500 a month goal every step of the way. And then her goal may change. But she first signed up to be a wholesale ambassador. She just wanted her products covered. So you never know what belief you can set off just in that one call.
I love that. And thank you so much for mentioning that, because I think that is so so key to get those wholesalers going,
Yes.
get those teams. So you've obviously had a crazy amount of momentum that has carried over, though, even from after your first 8 months, and when you felt like you kind of had that attrition problem, you've been able to sustain that momentum. How do you keep your team fresh? How do you keep them engaged? And how do you keep that momentum going? Because momentum is also just as easy to lose as it, So
Yes.
how has that been for you guys? How have you kept that going?
You know what? I think that one of the greatest things to keep your team going, keep your team motivated and engaged is team culture. I heard a quote once, and you guys, it resonated with me. The difference in a team of 100 and a team of 10,000 is culture. So creating this culture, and every single one of you in this call, you get to be a part of creating a culture for your team. And the culture that I set out to cultivate was a team that was super engaged. They were engaged in their own personal development and their own personal growth, in training, in recruiting, in being bold and being willing to share. And so I am constantly teaching, training, posting about engaging in your business, reaching out to people, being bold, getting past fears, and pushing out of your comfort zone. Because I'm telling you, if you're not uncomfortable in your business, it's very likely that you're not growing. And so pushing my team to get uncomfortable. It sounds funny, but it's true, you guys. And there are still things that make me uncomfortable almost 2.5 years in. There is, but we have to continue to push ourselves. And another thing, and every one of you is a leader. If you have one person on your team, you are a leader. And I really do believe that. That's not just talk, because it starts there. I wish I would have known a lot of the things that I know now when I was a silver ambassador that I did not do then. And I messed up a lot of things that I could have done differently. But that's what this whole process and journey is about. It's learning and growing. And so just making sure that you're creating a culture with your team that's engaged. They are excited. If you want your team to get excited, you get excited. I'm telling you, passion is one of the most effective things that you can give to your team. It is contagious. People want to follow you if you're passionate and enthusiastic and excited, because it creates energy and it creates fun. So hands down, Sarah, I would say that keeping them going, keeping that momentum going, it's all about culture and what we create as leaders for our teams.
I love that so much. I think that you're spot on. And clearly you have the passion and the excitement to engage in everybody.
I do get excited, I'll tell you.
No, I love it. And so one of my ambassadors, Amber Perry, wanted to know how you teach your team duplication, and how do you encourage people to see their true gifts as leaders?
Duplication is hard in the sense of not everyone is going to duplicate what you do. But I think it starts by you leading by example. I say this to my leaders often. People are going to do what you do and what you don't do. So you can talk all day about X, Y, and Z would be great, and I should do this and I should do that, but they're actually going to emulate what you are doing or what you're not doing. So if you're engaging in personal growth, if you are making your list and you are consistently reaching out to people, I am a huge, I said this earlier, a huge passionate advocate for reaching out and sharing. So you know what? I'm still doing that, because I'm not going to, train my team to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. I think another thing with duplication is reiterating the basics over and over and over again. I didn't do that for a while, and I realized that not all my team was really engaged in three-way calls, three-way prospecting calls, and my leaders doing the Zoom calls. So what I started doing is rotating these posts over and over again about list making, about reaching out, about cold messaging and giving them scripts to follow, about three-way calls and the value and the importance of them and how to do them, about the importance of prospecting calls. Now, some of my people on my team are probably like, oh my gosh, a three-way call again, we get it. But But you know what? It's capturing people all the time. New people are seeing that, and they are starting to duplicate those practices. So find your system, whatever it is that works for you. Find your system and reiterate that over and over and over again, because that repetition is what is going to grab hold of some people. Here's an example of that. I have a strong leader on my team who was not duplicating my three-way training calls, the three-way prospecting calls, or the mini conference calls with her leaders. She wasn't doing it. She had her own little system going on. It was going fine. Great person. And I started to do that, where I was reiterating the things over and over again. And now several of my, it just makes me giddy, of my level 2s and 3s and beyond are starting to do those things because they've seen it more and more. And now she's seeing the value in it. She's like, Tamara, this is working. I'm like, yes, it works. And so she's starting to do it, you guys, a year after me implementing these practices. So that reiterating, that is so important for duplication. Find the system, stick to the basics, stick with what works, and teach that to your leaders, and make sure they're teaching it to their leaders.
I love that, and I love the three-way calls. I think they're so good. So you mentioned earlier, and Hillary wanted me to ask this of you too. You mentioned earlier that there was a few things that you did when you were silver, or that you didn't do, when you were silver, that you wish you would have. So what things would you change in your journey?
Oh man, there's a lot of things I would change in my journey. But you know, I think the first one that comes to mind is to quit trying to find that one person, that superstar that's going to take you to the next level, who's going to help you rank, who's taking you all the way. And that's what I was focused on for the longest time. I thought, okay, where's my superstar? Where is she? Who's going to take me to Emerald? Who is this? And you know what? A light bulb went off, and I thought, okay, I'm going to quit trying to look for that superstar, and I'm going to become that superstar. And so becoming the ambassador that you want to sponsor on your team. So whoever you think of that's a dream team that you know will be amazing, start to emulate those things, right? Who do you want to sponsor? You want to sponsor someone who's bold. You want to sponsor someone who's not afraid to put themselves out there, not afraid to get out of their comfort zone. You want to sponsor someone who's passionate. You want to sponsor someone who's committed and consistent and persistent and resilient through trials and tribulations, because we're all going to face them. So become that person. Quit looking for that one person, or relying on your team or this one or two people to take you somewhere, and you decide that you're going to take yourself there. Because when you start to live out those characteristics, those are the kind of people that you're going to draw to your business. None of us can do this alone. None of us can. We all have to have go-getters and business partners that we join hands with, and we go together down this journey. But it starts with you. It starts with you. And I wish I would have realized that sooner. It started with me. It started with the things that I had to put into practice so that I could draw in people, attract people that were quality people that got it, that got the vision and went for it.
I love that.
Sarah, does that answer that?
Yes, the law of magnetism. Put out what you want to bring in. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
So do you typically find people that are motivated by the business when they join, or do most of your people make that decision later on? And if so, how do you provide that motivation to them to make that decision?
Yeah. Honestly, I would say it's probably half and half. Okay. At first, I was trying to sign just like anybody and everybody that would join my team. And then I decided that wasn't the best approach, and I was going to look for people that I could really cast a vision upon, that I knew that once they capture that vision, they would be all in and committed and passionate about this business. So I kind of shifted my focus, and now I do more so go after people that I think are going to want it from the beginning. But like I mentioned the girl a second ago, she started out as a wholesale ambassador, and now her goal is to hit that, that $500 a month mark, which is fantastic. And I do believe that she will continue to take that further. The way that I think that you have a chance to motivate and bring in wholesale people and make them business builders is just by again, I'm repeating myself, but engaging with them, showing them your passion, getting them on a call, planting seeds with them. I had a sweet friend who I went to college with who was actually a wholesale ambassador for over a year. And just about 6 months ago, she called me and she was like, all right, fine, I'm ready. I'm going to do this now. And I said, well, what changed your mind? And she said, seeing how excited you are 2 years in, seeing how much your life has been changed and continues to be changed. And finally, I just wanted to grab myself by the shoulders and say, why am I not doing this? And so being you, being genuine to who you are, there's not a magic formula. It's just being you, being excited, continuing to show that enthusiasm and that passion, and that's going to draw people in, even people that are already on your team. Making a big deal out of recognizing people on your team. So you have this wholesale ambassador, it's on your team page, you're like, oh, so-and-so's getting a $100 bonus for going silver. Oh my gosh, Tamara's doing an incentive for a Kate Spade purse and some Kidder Scott earrings. Man, maybe I should get in on that. You never know what can motivate someone, and I've seen all the above do that for people. So I would say half and half. I have some people that just aren't motivated by the business, but they're motivated by the life-changing products, and that can so easily change into being motivated by the business. Because guys, I'm telling you, if I could say one thing to you tonight that just sticks with you, is that there is so much that comes from being willing to step outside of your comfort zone and push past your fears and share that passion and share that boldness. Because you never know whose life it can change. And so many people are passionate and excited about sharing about these products because they've experienced that life change, but they're fearful about sharing the business opportunity. And I really do believe that there's just as many lives being changed by this business opportunity as there are by the products. So, little side note there.
No, I think that is so key, and it's such a good thing to remember because it's so easy to lead with the products.
It is.
With the business. It's almost like a self-preservation thing. You don't want to get turned down for the business. So the easier thing is to push the products, but planting those seeds of the business is huge.
Yes. And we are a product-based company. Obviously, our passion starts there. Our passion starts with the products. But if you look at the business, truly, by sharing these products, by helping your cousin and your best friend and the person you meet at Chick-fil-A to get on these products to help with their health issues, the business, it starts to come more natural because you're looking at it like we have these amazing products that I want to share with everyone, right? The longer I'm in Plexus, honestly, the stronger my belief becomes in these products and the more bold I become in sharing about them. And as I share about them, I'm growing my business. Every customer I look at as a potential. Every single customer that I sign, that is a potential to join my team and a potential to become a business building ambassador. I don't ever not approach a customer after 1 month of being on the products. After 1 month, if they're not interested then, second month, I'm asking them about it again because I know that not only can the products change their life, but the business can in so many ways, just as much, if not more.
I love it. It's so true. And so that being said, obviously you've figured out how to help motivate your team grow and that kind of thing with contests and just enthusiasm and everything like that. But what have you done from a network expansion standpoint? So obviously you've been here for 2.5 years or so. And your warm market is probably pretty well signed up. They're either signed up as a customer or as an ambassador. But what do you do to find those people outside of your warm market? What have you done as far as that goes?
I'm not going to say it's always easy, but it takes intentionality. I actually heard someone say a couple of years ago, they said, network marketing really becomes network marketing when your warm market runs dry. That's when you have to really decide, am I a network marketer? And I think you have to be intentional, you guys. Some things I did when I first started, I only had a little over 300 Facebook friends. So I knew I had to expand my market. So there were several ways in which I did that. But looking at a cold market, some things that I did, I joined a lot of different groups that I felt like I could potentially connect with people. I was already on Baby Center for my first little baby girl. And I started forming some relationships on there with people that had same age children as I did. One is now a senior Ruby on my team. And I met her at convention for the first time last year, this past June, and she had been on my team for about 6 months at that point. So that was surreal. But joining groups and cultivating relationships, I joined a lot of like direct sell groups, like promoting direct selling, work from home mom, mompreneur, anything like that. I would literally search in the Facebook bar just some keywords like work from home, direct sales, network marketing, and all these groups would pop up, and I would join those. And I started watching. First, I just kind of watched, because a lot of those pages can be real salesy and people post ads and links. But if you watch it, you can find people that just have that substance, and you go, ooh, that person, they might be able to be great at this. So I would reach out to those people. I would friend them, and I would start relationships with them. I wouldn't necessarily, throw Plexus on them right away, but I start relationships with them. In those groups, I joined 2 different, they call it like buy, sell, trade. And so all these network marketing distributors would come into one group, and I may buy Pampered Chef from someone. Pampered Chef bought from It Works. It Works bought from Tupperware. Tupperware bought from, Origami Al. Origami Al bought from me. It was kind of like everybody referred other people to you for different products that you carried. It was actually really neat. And I would friend all those girls. So I was trying to expand my network. One of those girls posted on Facebook one day, I'm just looking for something different in my life. I'm desperate for something new. And so I messaged her, and I just started talking with her, and I asked her, can I share Plexus with you? Sure. So we started talking, we built some trust, and she joined my team. She's now a Sapphire ambassador on my team, a complete stranger that I didn't meet for a year after she joined me as my level 1. Being intentional about what moms groups can you get involved in, community group, community service. What can you do at your church? Are you involved in women's ministry or men's ministry? What can you do? What can you be intentional about in joining and becoming a part of, so you can start to develop some new relationships and start to build some trust? It will take work. It will take being purposeful and intentional, but it can be done. It definitely can be done.
I love that. Those were some great ideas. I never thought to join any of the network marketing groups out there. I never even thought to search for that. So for me, that was a huge light bulb moment. So thank you.
Sure. I think sometimes we just have to think outside the box, because at some point your warm market, it is going to run dry. So you've got to create a new warm market. You've got to create new relationships. We moved to a new neighborhood about 6 or 7 months ago. And it's my tendency sometimes just to stay in my house and, play with my daughter, do my Plexus business, look for fun things to decorate. And I was like, you know what? I've got to be intentional to get involved here. So I joined a neighborhood Bible study. I'm joining BSF at a church that we don't attend, so it's a totally different group of people, and it's a Bible study as well. It's called Bible Study Fellowship. So just different things that I can get involved in, so I can start to meet new people and create new relationships and say, hey, I really connected with this person. Let's go on a play date to the park next week with our kiddos, and just being intentional about growing those new relationships, because no matter where you're at, whether you're a gold ambassador, a diamond ambassador, wherever you fall, you never want to just sit back and say, I've arrived. You want to constantly be pushing yourself in so many ways, but including, building your own personal business. To build your own personal business, first of all, and secondly, to be an example for others as they watch you and emulate what you do.
Oh, yes. I love that so much. So I'm going to ask one last question. I know we're about going over.
Yeah.
Taryn wanted to know what you do as far as your onboarding process goes. Like, what do you do? I know you do the 3-way call, so we talked about that. But what else do you guys do? Is there anything that you do habitually, or what's your process?
Okay, so the first thing that I do, I'm just going to talk about adding new level 1, is I, of course, add them to the team page. I talk to them about Plexus Power Tools, so I'm talking to them about resources. I add them to our own team's testimonial page. We have a testimonial page just for our team. And the reason I did that is so that people could get to know each other's stories and have a personal touch. So when they do share a testimony, they can say, my friend so-and-so, and oh my goodness, I'm on the same team with da-da-da, and her story is amazing. So it just adds a personal touch. So adding them to those key resources. Of course, I send them a welcome email. I am very big on sending them training videos. But at first, I laugh at myself. I literally sent like 2 Word documents at first to people. I'm like, here's all the training videos. Watch them tonight. I'll talk to you tomorrow. and I realized quickly that that wasn't working out so well. And so I started to send 2 or 3 a week. And kind of depending on where their heart's at and what they're looking for, product-based videos about the triplex or about gut health or about how the probiotic and the BioCleanse work. Ame Darling has a great YouTube channel about products. Wendy Larson has a great YouTube channel about products. Those 2 ladies are just really knowledgeable in the products. And then I would send them videos about the business. So our new compensation plan video is fantastic. The Plexus Journey video is something I will use from now on. We didn't used to have those, so I would use Sonia Dudley's, which I still think is fantastic, but I love our corporate compensation plan video. And so sending them things, maybe 2 or 3 a week, that you're encouraging them specifically to watch those and then following up with them. And then, of course, that 3-way training call, it's crucial. It's so crucial. And then setting goals in their first 30 days. And again, here's that accountability, right? If they set a goal in their first 30 days and they're sending those to you, which is what I ask them to do, write them down, think about them, send them to me, then I'm following up with them. I literally write their names down in my calendar, and I'm following up with them at least once a week, typically more. And the business builders, they're also reaching out to you. But get a calendar if you don't have one, and make sure you're writing in names and blocks, like people that I'm going to follow up with, level 1s. Let me start over. In my calendar, I have a follow-up system where I have my level 1s names written down, and I have my customers, and then I have my potentials. So I'm constantly on a rotating schedule, because otherwise it's good. People are going to fall through the cracks for me, because you can't possibly rely on your memory, at least not me, especially being pregnant right now. Poor Sarah, I think she had to remind me this call like 18 times. But anyway, so just having that system in place where you're really engaging in that ambassador, because those first 30 days, you guys, those are crucial. The first 30 to 60 days specifically. And then tagging them on important information, creating a level 1 thread, like a chat, where if you see a post that's super important that they cannot miss, make sure they're on that thread and send them those posts, send them that training video. And you guys, this sounds like a simple thing, but I'm on a lot of team pages on several different levels even. Make it exciting, make it passionate. Don't just send them a link and say, watch this video. Oh my gosh, y'all, I just watched this video. I learned X, Y, and Z. It's so amazing. You cannot miss this. I'm going to follow up with y'all tomorrow and make sure you watched it. It's only 10 minutes. Everybody's got 10 minutes. Create some energy. Create some excitement. You guys, it makes all the difference in the world, I promise you. So again, adding them to the resources that are super important, giving them some training videos, maybe 2 or 3 a week, setting those goals and following up and keeping them accountable, sending a welcome email, and doing that 3-way call. I like to keep things simple, a simple system that they can follow as they add people as well.
I love it. Thank you so much, Tamara. I took pages and pages and pages.
Oh, goodness. Send them to me. I have no clue what I said.
Thank you so much. I could ask you questions for hours, so I appreciate your time so much. And I know that you're so busy with your family and your team, so taking the time out tonight to talk to us was wonderful. And I'm sure I'll be messaging you some more questions over the coming months, but thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, you guys. Y'all have an amazing leader in Sarah. She is so smart and excited, and she's just lovely. I have really enjoyed getting to know her, and you guys have a truly a great leader in Sarah. She did a team call for me a couple weeks back, and they like went crazy over her. This is the best thing I've ever heard. I'm like, yes, she's amazing. You probably got like 1,000 friend requests that night. But thank you guys for having me. I'm so honored to be able to I see a lot of your faces, to be able to meet some of you guys tonight. I hope it was helpful. I hope you pulled a little something from it, and you're just inspired and motivated to go all in and commit to this regardless of what comes along the way, because there's nothing like this business. And a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you're going to be so thankful that you stuck to it, that you committed to this, and that you went all in because of the difference it truly can make in your life and in your family's life and in your team members' life. You get to be a part of life change for so many people as you continue to grow your business. So I thank y'all for having me tonight.
Thank you so much. And I will post the recording, guys, for everybody else that wasn't able to get on it. So you guys have a great night. Thanks again. I will talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.